This man jumped out of a plane in the middle of the night with $200,000 and was never seen again. No body was ever found. On the afternoon of November 24, 1971, a man bought a ticket with cash at Portland, Oregon for a flight with Northwest Orient Airlines to Seattle, Washington. The name given on the ticket was Dan Cooper. Eyewitnesses described Cooper as a white male in his mid-40s, with dark hair and brown eyes, wearing a black or brown business suit. He was also carrying a briefcase, which will become very important soon. Dan then proceeded to board the 727, which has a very unique feature: the rear air stairs. These are air stairs that are part of the plane they were used for boarding in small airports, but would be used for something very different today. With a crew of 6, consisting of Captain William A. Scott, First Officer William Bill J. Radadzak, Flight Engineer Harold E. Anderson, and flight attendants Alice Hancock, Tina Mucklow, and Florence Schaffner, and 36 passengers aboard, including the hijacker, Flight 305 left Portland on schedule at 2:50 p.m. PST. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper handed a note to flight attendant Schaffner, who was sitting in the jump seat at the rear of the plane. Cooper then leaned toward her and whispered, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." And the note said, "Miss, I have a bomb in my briefcase, and I would like you to sit next to me." And she did sit next to him, and he showed her the bomb in his briefcase. But was it even real? Well, that has never been confirmed. Next, he held 2 live wires and stated that connecting the wires would blow but the plane, and he wanted 4 parachutes and $200,000. The flight attendants passed on this information to the pilots. The FBI and Air Traffic Control was also notified of the hijacking. Soon, Northwest Orient agrees to the demands of Cooper. The FBI gets the money prepared but crucially records the serial numbers on the money. Cooper waits patently, sipping his cup of Burin and smoking cigarettes. The plane safely lands, and Cooper demands they taxi to a remote part of the runway. Then Cooper sends out one of the flight attendants to collect the money. She bring it back. It is made up of $20 notes and weighs 23 pounds, or 10.5 kilograms. Then all of the passengers are released, unknown to what has just happened, along with 2 flight attendants, the remaining 2 flight attendants, and the flight crew, and still on board. The plan then refuels and takes off again for Cooper's great escape. Cooper demands to fly at 10,000 feet with the flaps down and landing gear down. He says, limit the speed to 200 miles per hour. The Cooper wants them to fly to Mexico City, but the captain insisted that it's too far. He suggests Reno, and Copper agrees. Cooper then tells the flight attendant to go to the cockpit and stay there. He then attaches the parachute to himself, and the bag of money lowers the rear air stairs and jumps. He became a legend, one of the only successful hijacking of an American plane. But did he survive? Who was he? And where is he now? Well, the answer to those questions is, we don't know. Well, it is, though, that he survived because no body was ever found. But some money was. In 1980, a small portion of the ransom money was found along the banks of the Columbia River near Vancouver, Washington. The discovery of the money renewed public interest in the mystery, but yielded no additional information about the hijacker's identity or fate, and the remaining money was never recovered. Soon after the hijacking, some newspapers started receiving letters. The letter claimed to be from Dan Cooper. A first letter, signed D.B. Cooper and sent from Oakdale, California, to the Reno Evening Gazette. This letter stated, "Thanks for hospitality." In total, there were 6 letters received. Now together we will start to speculate on what these letters mean. So as I stated before, the first letter said, "Thanks for hospitality." Now the ITY is in bold, so if we discount that and turn the letters into numbers by their place in the alphabet, so A would equal 1, B would equal to 2, and so on. The letter will equal 88, and what also equal 88? Can FBI catch me? Now I want to be very clear, I am speculating here from this PDF I found online. Link in on the subscribe button, by the way. So you guys can look at the other letters in that, but we will skip to letter 6. which some people think may lead us to who D.B. Cooper is. In this letter, there are 4 phrases or words that have been repeated. We will start with the first decode message from the first 2 repeated phrases or words. D.B. Cooper is not real and lackey cops. And if you decode the lackey cops part of that sentence, it spells, I am First LT Robert Rackstraw. So who is Robert Rackstraw? He was a former Army helicopter pilot who had been awarded a Silver Star for valor, and he faced charges of aircraft theft, possession of explosives, and check fraud, according to news reports. So not old did he know how to fly a helicopter, he could also fly a plane. And in 2011, Thomas J. Colbert, a Los Angeles-based television and film producer, organized a 40-member team to investigate Rackstraw and figure out whether he may have been Cooper.
The lawsuit compels the FBI to release its entire investigative file.
But Robert is just one of the FBI's many suspects. Another suspect was Dick Briggs. He claimed he was D.B. Cooper. In the Netflix series, Ron Carlson spoke about how he thinks D.B. Cooper is Briggs.
What I found on Ron Carlson's tape was a game changer.
A story that I truly believe is factual. Almost from the time we met, he was telling us that he was, in fact, D.B. Cooper. And he kept saying, you don't believe me, do you? And we ended up being at a party in 1980. And he says, well, I'm going to tell you something that'll prove to you who I am. He said, that couple over there? We said, yeah. He says, they and their son, they were a hippie-looking couple, are the ones that are going to find my money.
And if you remember, some of the money was found, in fact, by the couple. Briggs said so, and remembered the FBI confirmed it with the serial numbers they had when they first gave the money to D.B. Cooper. He also, by friends, was said to have been in the Special Forces and be an expert with parachuting. He was also said to be very smart, but others say that he was very hot-headed and would lose his temper very easily, not like D.B. Cooper. The FBI by 1976 had investigated more than 800 suspects. The case was investigated for 45 years, but conclusive evidence was never found. Despite the initiation of the Federal Sky Marshal Program the previous year, 31 hijackings were committed in U.S. airspace in 1972. 19 of them were for the specific purpose of extorting money. In 15 of the extortion cases, the hijackers also demanded parachutes. In early 1973, the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, began requiring airlines to search all passengers and their bags. Only 2 hijackings were attempted in 1973, so it was working. And due to multiple copycat hijackings in 1972, the FAA required that the exterior of all Boeing 727 aircraft be fitted with a spring-loaded device. But the fact that he hurt no one and go away with $200,000 makes him a hero in pop culture. Novelty shops even sold T-shirts emblazoned with D.B. Cooper, where are you?